you have to do is say Duke, Carolina, and everybody understands it.
The premier rivalry of all of college basketball.
There's something in the water.
Duke and UNC men's basketball, one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. We know that. But what are the factors that make this rivalry so great? There are a few. The location, legendary coaches and legendary players. Winning, you need to be winning. These two schools have done a whole heap of that. And the fanatical fans. We came down to North Carolina to get a deeper understanding of why this rivalry is so great.
It's been 6 weeks that people have been camping out here, and it's really, really cool to get to do this. It's one of my absolute top memories, probably of my whole life.
We're out here, 10 of us every night, sleeping in a tent just to get into this game, and it might seem crazy, but it's worth it in the end.
Duke, unlike UNC, does not do a lottery system. You earn your ticket at Duke UNC, so the people who put in work, the people who sleep out in tents, the people who are the most dedicated Cameron crazies get the ticket.
We've been going since 1986. A few students just started camping out outside Cameron, and then it's evolved ever since.
And I think what really gets you a part of the rivalry is not the game itself, but it's when you have to run into other fans from the other team. So like at the gas station or like at Target, you know, you'll be walking and someone'll be like, hey, Coach Lucas, you suck. And then, you know, that kind of adds to the rivalry. It adds to the dislike from both sides.
Back in the day, we used to go over to Carolina in the summer. We used to play pickup. And we weren't really allowed to have any of the Carolina guys on our team. It was always Duke against Carolina. So a lot of these rivalries have been built over the years. And I think, you know, even though players know each other these days, the air in the building is just different.
You know, the Crazies are like a sixth man for us, and you know, it just allows us to do our part on court. And I think the main thing is just the energy and just the environment that you're playing in.
It's just overwhelming. And then you step into Cameron and see the atmosphere. There's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
And I think a big part of it is how close the series is. I think it's 50-49 or 51-49, something like that.
I'm still pissed off that I'm 7-1 against North Carolina in my career. Think about what I just said. I'm 7-1 versus North Carolina in my career, and I'm still pissed off about it because I want to be 8-0.
Leitner down the lane. It's over. Carolina. It's over.
There's always been good games. There have been great players on both sides. So I think it's rare that you find a rivalry that is just so close in every category.
I think of the best rivalry not just in college basketball, but sports. I mean, this is bigger than the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
So what do you guys think of UNC?
You come on this campus, people will say, okay, like if you win a national championship, great, but did you beat Carolina twice? Like it's more of that, more so than win an ACC, it's have you beat your rival, and that's what it is.
There's been an Aussie flavour with this rivalry over the last few years as well. Jack White, he spent 4 years at Duke from 2017 to 2020, and now this man, Tyrese Proctor, a starter on this team, second year with Duke. He's looking to become the next Aussie NBA star.
He was our best player and led us to wins over Clemson and Virginia Tech and things like that, but I just think his mentality of putting his head down and continuing to work is something that's hard to teach. You're at the top of the scouting report on every game plan, so you have to adjust. And, you know, he's been able to adjust throughout the season.
He's a very good on-ball defender and off-ball, but his knack for making people around him better, that's the biggest thing that separates Tyrese from a lot of players. Tyrese would rather score 2 points and win the game than score 30 or 40 points and lose the game. And I think that's the separation from him and a lot of kids being in Australia compared to being in America.
Tyrese, it doesn't have to be from your career necessarily, but what would you say is your best memory or biggest memory from this Duke-UNC rivalry?
I think beating them at UNC last year. I think that was a pretty special moment for us. we were sort of, on the rise then, and it was sort of, just a cherry on top for us at the moment. Just seeing everyone, obviously upset that they lost and stuff like that. This year, we have the chance to tie the ACC championship.
2 years ago, when all of our former players came here for Coach K's last home game, and they stomped on our court after they won, that was a hurtful moment in the history of this program. You follow that up with the pinnacle of the teams meeting for the first time in the Final Four, and Carolina beating us again in Coach K's last game ever.
Carolina has put its foot down on Coach K's final season.
That means something to every former player that flew into New Orleans for that moment. We want to make it hurt. We want to gloat about it because they did that to us.
Roy Williams loving every minute of it.
A key ingredient of the Duke-UNC men's basketball rivalry is the proximity of the two campuses. From Cameron Indoor to right here at the center line in the Dean Smith Center, the Dean Dome, it's only a 10 to 15 minute drive, a very short trek. And the moment you step in this building, the one thing that takes you aback straight away is the history. Banners everywhere in the rafters, most importantly, those national championships.
And the fairy tale ride for the Tar Heels.
This is the National Championship Trophy Room. We actually modeled it after the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl Championship room. But we have 6 NCAA titles. And then we have another championship trophy from 100 years ago, which was a vote. It wasn't the NCAA tournament. We have the 3rd most in college basketball history, and all the championship trophies are right here in this one.
And then we walk to this cabinet and rings. I think Australia trying to come up with some more ways. Can we get rings for championships? So important over here. What are we looking at in this cabinet?
So if you're fortunate enough to win a national championship, you get a huge ring.
Yes.
And these rings are, when you win, one player from the team is selected the most outstanding player. And these rings are emblematic of that one player.
We get to the Jordan cabinet and really the Jordan wall, I would say. What do we got in here? Because Jordan merch is always going to attract attention.
Well, he was great. When we were building the museum, he invited us up to Chicago to his house and allowed us to go through his trophy room, which I thought was his trophy room.
Yes.
And said, pick out as many items as you want. So we did. We picked out 6 items. And I got back and I told Coach Williams that he invited us into his trophy room to pick these trophies. And I described it to him, and Coach Williams said, that's not his real trophy room. That's like a little tiny trophy room because you guys didn't even see the big trophy room. So it's great. This is one of the most popular places just because of his success both here at Carolina and obviously in the NBA is maybe the greatest player of all time.
It's not just about the players when it comes to the history of UNC. This man, Dean Smith, anytime you think of this college, you think of him and the contributions.
You do. When you think of Carolina basketball, Dean Smith should come first to mind, and we play in the Dean Smith Center. This museum was built in large part because Coach Smith donated almost his entire memorabilia collection and said, do with it what you want. And we didn't have a great spot for it at the time, so we stepped up and built this building 16 years ago.
Duke, well, they're no stranger to winning either. They have 5 national titles, tied for 4th most all time. They've also been to the Final Four 17 times. When the bar is set at championship, it's no wonder this rivalry is so special.
This place was built by hundreds of individuals, thousands of people. Coach K is definitely the narrator of all of it. To see my kids come here now full circle, it makes me appreciate all the things that Coach K told me this place would mean to me one day because it's more than what he was even able to articulate. What's my number?
The #1 rivalry in all of college basketball. And here come the Blue Devils. And you better know the Tar Heels are waiting and ready tonight.
Cameron
Cameron Indoor Stadium. We're about 6 hours from tip-off. The Duke fans, the UNC fans are here for ESPN's traveling game day show, College Game Day, and it's already starting to get crazy in here.
I don't even know why they're here. They showed up for a massacre. I don't know why they want to watch their team get beat like this, but hey, here we are. I mean, it's too easy, honestly.
Duke's gonna win tonight. My son here, I dropped him on his head when he was a kid, so he became a Tar Heel fan. But let's go Duke! Woo!
The first game I ever saw was when Tyler Hansbrough got elbowed in the face by Gerald Henderson. And it just started it all. You know, Coach K went on to say that Gerald was the real victim, but Jared later admitted it was on purpose. And I don't know, that just was what Duke was all about to me. And here we are at Hansbrough Indoor Stadium cheering on our Tar Heels.
I don't give a dang on who wins, Duke or Carolina. But I just want to be a great game. It's going to be a sad night. But it's going to go Duke. It's going to be a sad night. It's going to Duke. It's going to be a sad night. Go Duke, baby. Sad night.
We're the Cowboys.
For me, it was like a bucket list thing, honestly. I mean, I've been following Duke since I was 8 years old, the J.J. Redick early eras. You know, I had to do it at least once in my life, and I paid $2,000.
We continue to talk about the history of this rivalry for the great players and the great coaches. The one added element that you can't get a sense for until you get right here are these guys, the Cameron Crazies, 1 hour from tip-off.
When the music starts and the fans jump around and everyone starts singing.
It's indescribable. Like, you try to tell people back in Australia what it's like. You can't, because you have to experience it.
See the sign.
From sold-out Cameron Indoor Stadium, 9,314 of the loudest folks you will ever meet. Doe's pass is stolen, and Proctor gets them all riled up here in Cameron with the steal and the dunk. Ingram went down again.
Ooh, I've seen that movie before. Yeah, not a great look there. Cormac Ryan has been outstanding.
Ryan. Wow. It is his night. 6 made threes for Cormac Ryan. He's trying to go coast to coast, and he will succeed. Still a 6-point game. Just 4.7 seconds to go.
Tyler Zeller this morning talked about nothing better than a quiet Cameron Indoor Stadium.
It's pretty quiet right now as this one comes to an end.
It was UNC that left Duke fans very, very somber exiting Cameron Indoor Stadium today. But after spending 3 days in North Carolina, this is absolutely a bucket list event for any sports fan right across the world. And it was only one result. And like all good rivalries, there is going to be plenty more chapters to come.
This is the moment.